The first sensation is weight, not pressure from outside, but weight from within. Joints click, seals lock, cables strain. You are not dressed, you are contained. Air filters through hidden tubes tinged with incense and burnt oil. Vision narrows inside the helm, runes pulsing green in rhythm. Pulse, ammunition, pressure, oxygen, all steady, all awaiting orders. You lift an arm, servos growl, vibration rumbling through your chest. The gauntlet is not flesh, but ceramite and steel, layered and scarred. Across its plate is carved a black cross. You know the symbol without knowing why. Memory strains, but the armor presses it down. Breath falls in time with helm readouts. The body commands, the mind follows. Giants march at your side, armor black as void, white crosses bright as wounds. Chains fasten relics to their chests. Purity seals flicker in the stale air. Each warrior is a moving shrine. You step as one of them. Every stride lands with iron certainty. Shields ready, chains wards dormant, bolters heavy in hand. The helm reads their signals as if you were always meant for this. At the front moves the chaplain, a sentence embodied. His helm is a skull with eyes burning coal red. The Crozius hums with captive fire, weapon and icon together. His voice grinds through the vox, broken into orders. Measure, march, mend the breach. Your lungs fall into his rhythm. The bolter is massive, yet natural. Impossible, yet it yields to your grip. The corridor opens onto Hive Sarmiento Delta. The hive is a carcass of steel and smoke. Pipes hang like veins, gantries sag, banners rot. Where the Aquila once spread wings, spirals of blood and painted mouths leer. Your helm filters sight, but not meaning. Corruption covers every wall. The vox crackles. The chaplain speaks. Mission. Purge, you hear yourself answer. The word fits like instinct. The square beyond gapes wide, a cathedral of rust. Pillars slump, gantries tremble. At its heart rises an altar of plating and bone, bleeding into a circle cut into stone. It pulses like living flesh. They wait. Hundreds. Hoods, masks, skulls, weapons scavenged and foul. Eyes blaze with ruinous zeal. The mob seethes. The line halts. Shields lock edge to edge. The chaplain lifts his Crozius. Name your sin. His voice is iron on stone. The cult answers with drums and screams. The stench of blood climbs. He turns his helm to you. Knights of the cross, children of the sword, advance. You breathe deep. Bolter high. Shield set. The line moves. The drums erupt. The mob surges. You fire. Recoil hammers through bone. One cultist bursts apart, another torn in half. A hook clangs off your pauldron. A knife shatters on your shield. Bolters roar. Chainswards scream. The chaplain crashes into the press. Crozius breaking skulls. His words mark the rhythm. Hold. Press cut. The squad moves as one hinge, grinding the cult apart. Through the din, another sound rises. Not drums, not screams. Him. A wall of voices, steady as stone. White and red armor carves through smoke. Fleur-de-lis blaze on breastplates. Scripture carved into plates. Scars speaking of vows. Their hymn fuses with the chaplain's litany, a tide of faith shaking the square. Precision, fire, and wounds alike inspire awe. The brides of the emperor. Reverence stirs despite the armor you wear. At their head strides a woman, face bare, scar across her cheek, eviscerator in hand. The chaplain calls her name, Canoness Sabina Anselma. Her rosary strikes her thigh plate with each step. Even Astartes heed her presence. The chaplain inclines his helm slightly. Lines shift to meet theirs. The blood circle trembles. The cult howls, frantic. "Drive," the chaplain commands. The wall braces. Hymn and litany merge. The storm is about to break. The hymn rises, drowning the chaos drums. White and red armor closes with black shields. Each sororita moves with measured precision, weapons steady, their chant unwavering. Two lines meet, interlocking like teeth. Templars of black steel beside the brides of the Emperor, a wall of faith and iron. Your bolter roars. A hooded cultist crumples. Another falls behind him. To your flank, a sister unleashes fire, turning a cluster into shrieking silhouettes. The stench burns through your filters, but you do not falter. The chaplain drives into the mob, Crozius striking in rhythm. Skulls cave, sparks burst. His words grind like iron. Push, cut, seal. You obey without pause. The wall surges forward, blades and bolts cutting down flesh and rags. Madness fuels the cult, but steel and faith crush them. They climb over corpses to reach you, but each charge ends in ruin. Canoness Sabina and Selma, commander of the Order of the Sacred Rose on Sarmiento Delta, advances at your side. Her eviscerator roars as she cleaves a brute in two, stride unbroken. The rosary at her thigh knocks with every step. Her sisters flank her, bolters and flamers methodical, their hymn sharpening the air. The flamers gush, promethium, holy fire that clings and devours, burning even on steel. Not mere flame, but consecrated weaponry. Bursts meant to scour heresy until only ash remains. The plaza becomes a furnace. Every breath is heat, every step resistance. Your bolter cycles steady, each shot tearing flesh and stone alike. The wall presses on. The mob breaks, reforms, and breaks again. Above, chains rattle as cultists drop down. You fire into one mid-leap, ripping him from the air. Another crashes against your shield, knife shattering. You shove, bones splinter, and finish him with your chains ward. At the center, the altar throbs. Blood thickens in cut channels, haze rising like smoke. Each death feeds it. Sabina signals with her blade. Her sisters pivot fire onto the construct. Flame and bolts hammer it. The haze recoils but holds. The chaplain answers with one word: purge. His Crozius flares. You add your fire. The altar shudders, plates cracking. Cultists fling themselves forward in desperation, blades high. You cut them down until the last staggers against your shield. Sabina drives her eviscerator into the altar. Sparks leap, plates snap, and the whole thing fractures. Blood spills uselessly across the stone. The mob falters. Chants collapse. Drums stutter. Silence falls, heavier than their noise. The chaplain's vox breaks it. Not ended. Buried. We go down. Sabina's gaze fixes on the stairwell at the far end, smoke seeping from its throat. Her sisters close in. Your squad locks shields. Crozius raised. The chaplain steps into shadow. You follow, one weight, one will, into the dark below. The stairwell descends in iron rhythm, each step a drumbeat of ceramite. The memory of the plaza lingers. Blood circle broken, altar shattered, but the weight of corruption presses heavier with every level down. The chaplain sets the pace. His Crozius glows faintly, a brand in the dark, his voice hammering in clipped words. Step, shield. Watch. The cadence merges with the hymn of the sororitas, two rhythms fused into one. To your flank march the Sisters of the Sacred Rose, an order famed for steadfastness under fire and unyielding defense, often sent to hold ground where others fail. Their armor gleams white and red, scripture carved into every plate. Bolters and flamers stay steady in their hands. Their hymn is no gentle chant, but a sharpened weapon, tearing through the fog of drums and madness. In them you sense the same iron oath that binds your brothers, born of different vows, but equal in devotion. Canoness. Sabina and Selma leads without hesitation. Her bare face, scarred yet unflinching, carries more command than any shout. The eviscerator in her grip growls, ready. Against your giant kin she is small, yet her faith magnifies her presence until it stands level with the chaplain's. The stairwell opens onto a landing drowned in smoke. Candles bleed black wax down walls, where Achilles have been torn away, replaced by symbols that writhe at the edge of sight. Chains hang heavy with bones. The air tastes of burned fat. Drums pound below, slower now, like a heart. Cultists wait in crouched ranks. At sight of you they charge, masks snarling, blades raised. The shield wall meets them head-on. Impact shudders through your frame, but the line does not bend. Bolters answer at point blank, tearing bodies apart. A sister's flamer floods a stairwell with promethium, fire clinging even to stone. Screams are cut short as the hymn climbs louder. Sabina presses forward, eviscerator biting deep. Each swing matches her sister's chant. She commands by presence, not voice. A cultist slips through, knife raised. You break his skull with your shield's edge, then finish him with a single shot. The formation does not falter. When the last heretic falls, two forces stand aligned. That is enough. In the silence, truth strikes you. This strength is borrowed, the flesh not yours, yet bound to a greater vow. You are a Black Templar, sworn to an endless crusade without home or respite. The thought offers no comfort. It binds, leaving no path but forward. The descent continues. Symbols of profanation multiply, spirals painted backward, toothless mouths smeared on walls, prayers written in nonsense strokes. Your auspex jitters, helm runes flicker as if the hive itself resists you. But the weight of litany and hymn drives back the static. Not beauty, but armor for the mind. Shots crack from alcoves cut into the stairwell, a sudden flurry meant to break your advance. Ramshackle rifles spit, rounds sparking against shields, some aimed with unsettling precision like hidden marksmen. Disciplined volleys answer, clearing the nests in seconds. One sister falls, armor split. Sabina strides to her, placing a gauntlet over the wound while intoning words of faith. Her voice is a litany as old as the order, a prayer that steadies breath and stills pain. It seems ritual only, yet the bleeding slows. Strength returns. Pale but unbroken, the sister rises and rejoins the hymn without hesitation. The drums intensify as you descend, the walls slick with blood stink. At last the stairwell widens, light burning through haze below. Shadows move in the glow, chanting. The true den waits. The chaplain lowers his crozius. Form, anchor, purge. Sabina answers with calm authority. The Emperor remembers. The hymn surges, shields lock, and together you march into the cavern where the heresy beats at its heart. The deeper you advance, the more the hive twists into corruption. Imperial aquilus have been torn away, replaced with spirals daubed in blood. Rusted pipes seep dark liquid. Black candles gutter along the walls, their smoke curling upward like veins. The air tastes of copper and rancid fat. Below, drums pound with irregular rhythm, designed not to guide but to unsettle thought. At a junction, the first ambush strikes. Shots crack from balconies above, cult marksmen firing from cover. Rounds spark across shields and armor. One bolt finds a seam, dropping a brother to one knee. You answer with disciplined fire, bolters clearing the alcoves with precise bursts. The sororitas add their flame, promethium sweeping the shadows clean. Further on, knives flash from side corridors, desperate bodies hurling themselves into the shield wall. None break through. Each is cut down by bolt and blade, yet the rhythm grows heavier. Each step deeper feels like marching into a wound that refuses to close. The passage opens into what was once a grand cathedral, a shrine of the Imperium now defiled. Once its vaults rang with loyal hymns and incense. Now they echo with profane chants, thick with the smoke of black candles. Columns rise like ribs, walls smeared with ash and symbols that writhe when held in sight too long. Broken, stained glass clings to the upper arches, shards of saints blackened by fire. One fragment alone endures, a golden wing crushing a horned shadow beneath it. Celestine. Sabina lifts her gaze for a heartbeat and whispers, "The Emperor remembers." Cultists pack the balconies, corridors, and floor below. Their chant rolls like thunder, countless voices in dissonance. Yet it is not their presence that seizes your attention. Behind the altar, a figure rises. Chains rattle across his frame, eyes too many for one face, staff crowned with skulls. A priest of khorne. His chant deepens the drums, drawing the crowd to frenzy. The mob parts. Heat thickens the air first, a suffocating wave rolling from the haze. Cultists recoil, their chant faltering into silence. Then comes the grind of iron teeth, the rasp of a saw axe alive with fury. From the smoke strides a monster in crimson plate. His armor is etched with blackened runes, rimmed with bronze. Chains at his waist clatter with skulls, too many and too large to be human. An axe saw drips gore in one hand, a round shield of iron and bone in the other. Heat radiates from him with every step, suffocating. The champion of khorne. He lowers his head and charges. The first blow crashes against the shield wall like thunder. A brother beside you staggers, his shield almost breaking under the impact. The line does not bend. The chaplain bellows a litany, Crozius crackling as it strikes back. The champion blocks with his shield, then smashes forward, forcing space open with brute strength. Cultists hurl themselves into the breach, knives and hooks raised. The hymn and litany rise to meet them. You fire, cut, and shove, the rhythm trembling on the edge of collapse. The champion roars, axe saw screaming as it tears chunks from armor and stone alike. The cathedral becomes chaos. Hymn and litany clashing with steel and blood beneath the gaze of the dark god. The clash erupts. The champion's axe saw falls in brutal arcs. Teeth shriek, sparks burst as steel bites into shields and ceramite. Each blow could sunder a mortal. Your line holds. Shields crack, bones groan. The Codex Astartes does not apply here. Only the Templar creed of unyielding advance. The chaplain meets him head-on. Crozius arcs down, a crackling relic smashing crimson plate. Bronze scorches. A scar opens across cursed runes. The champion barely staggers. His shield slams outward. The chaplain crashes to stone, but rises again, voice iron through vox distortion. Stand, strike, serve. The cult howls, flinging themselves into the breach. Knives scrape your shield, hooks catch and snap away. You shove forward. Bolter fire rips through faces at point blank. A brother falls beside you, the axe biting through pauldron and rib. His death is silent, steel cutting him down. Your auto senses note blood loss, bone failure, then cut to black. The combat drugs in your veins steady your arms. Laraman's organ clots wounds no mortal could survive. Even half broken, you fight on. Sabina and Selma charges. Her hymn merges with the roar of her eviscerator as she hacks into the champion's flank. Sparks fountain, teeth grind against demon-forged plate. The blow does not pierce, but forces his gaze. The sisters close with her, bolters barking, flamers unleashing sacred fire. Promethium floods the cathedral, consuming the unclean. The champion roars back, voice like a forge of rage. His shield smashes a repentia into the altar. Bones crack, blood sprays. Yet she laughs through broken teeth, blade wedged in his leg. Her sacrifice opens a gap. Sabina drives her eviscerator deeper. Sparks and smoke burst. The chaplain hammers the helm. Crozius strikes again and again. Fractures spread across the crimson mask. The axe saw sweeps low, tearing his torso. Ceramite bursts. He crashes aside. The Crozius clatters to stone. For a moment, silence crushes the litany. Cultists scream louder. You brace. Shield raised. The champion looms. Heat chokes. Gore stinks on his breath. Behind your visor, the targeting reticle flickers red. Pain suppressants drip into your bloodstream. A second heart drives harder, forcing oxygen into muscle. You are more than flesh. You are weapon. The chaplain rises once more, bloodied and staggering. Crozius blazing, he crashes it down onto the split helm. The blow lands true, but the champion's axe answers in the same instant, cleaving through his chest. Sparks and blood mingle as the chaplain falls, still clutching the Crozius. His last litany fades on the vox, cut short but unbroken. For a heartbeat, the line falters. Then the vox bursts alive, a voice carried across every helm and channel. It is Helbrecht, High Marshal of the Black Templars, not in flesh, but in command. His words are steel, each syllable a decree forged in war. Templars, the Emperor watches. Spill their blood. The effect is immediate. The machine spirit of your armor hums with renewed fury. His command binds every gene-forged warrior into a single will. The formation reforms, shields locking, bolters ready. Each brother stands as a black tower of defiance. The champion bellows, raising axe and shield. He charges, crimson plate blazing with hate. This time, the wall does not waver. Bolters thunder, flamers roar. Blades strike as one. Wounds split wider in his armor. The Emperor's justice answers his fury. You and your brothers fire into his chest, explosive shells detonating against fractured ceramite. Sabina's eviscerator rips deeper into the wounded joint, shrieking as teeth bite into demon-wrought metal. The chaplain's Crozius lies broken on the stones, but his sacrifice drives every strike. At last, a veteran Templar surges forward, thunderhammer crackling with caged storm. The blow crashes down, splitting armor and bone alike. The champion reels, guttural roar cut short, then topples against the altar. The mob falters, screams twist to panic. Some flee, others kneel. The priest shrieks, staff ringing against stone, until bolter fire tears him apart, scattering false relics. The cathedral falls silent. Promethium flames crackle. The ragged hymn of the Emperor's faithful endures. The battle is over, and the silence weighs heavier than the clash of arms. Smoke coils through shattered arches. Broken icons of the Imperium lie scattered among twisted heretical sigils, and ash drifts like snow across the black armor of your brothers and the scorched white of the sororitas. The champion of Khorne lies broken against the altar, helm split and body still. Even in death his form radiates fury, but now it is spent, denied. His blood feeds no god today. The altar itself has collapsed into rubble, shattered beneath his fall, its profane wards silenced by the hammer's blow. Where once the circle pulsed with dark power, there is only cracked stone and the acrid sting of burnt flesh. You lower your shield, exhaustion pressing heavier than ceramite. Combat drugs fade, pain returns. Your body is battered, but the organs within your chest, spine, and skull drive you onward. The secondary heart beats slower. The Susan membrane whispers rest, yet still you stand, for a time. Sabina kneels among the dead, her eviscerator planted upright, rosary clinking softly against her armor. Around her, the surviving sisters form ranks, no sign of triumph, only duty. They chant a final hymn, their voices steady, sealing the battle with faith. Her gaze lingers on the fallen chaplain, Crozius clutched even in death. An apothecary kneels at his side, solemn and precise. Gene seed is extracted with reverence, secured for the chapter's future. The Crozius, a relic older than many crusades, is lifted from his grip and sanctified anew. His armor fragments are marked with purity seals, prepared for preservation. Your brothers gather what remains of the fallen with ritual precision. Chains rattle as relics are bound, purity seals pressed onto battered plate, oaths spoken over cooling ceramite. The chaplain's name will be inscribed in the annals of the Crusade, his sacrifice recited in litanies to come. Then it is your turn. The pain no longer recedes. Autosenses fade one by one, shutting down as though surrendering before you do. Each breath grows heavier. You stagger, shield dragging across stone. A brother steadies you, then calls the apothecary forward. He knows what you know. This body cannot be saved. You sink to one knee, then fall to your side. Ceramite strikes the floor, echoing like a tomb sealed shut. The apothecary works with the same solemn care as before. Your gene seed is removed, preserved, so the chapter will endure. A purity seal is pressed to your gauntlet. A brother whispers a vow that your name will be carried in their litanies. No tears, no hesitation, only faith and duty. Your vision narrows. Above, through the cathedral's shattered roof, a thin shaft of pale light cuts the haze. It frames the scorched remnant of a shrine window, once bearing the image of Saint Celestine triumphant. In that frail light, you feel the Emperor's gaze at last. You recall how, before awaking your consciousness in this borrowed body, you were outside his light, adrift, uncertain. Now clarity pierces the dark, the faith of the Imperium of Man. For the first time, it is not distant. His presence steadies your mind and calms your final breath. Your story ends here. The strength was never yours, the flesh never truly your own.